KTTC News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Caitlin Alexander. It's no secret the state of Minnesota is in a bad drought right now. According to the most recent drought monitor, the entire state is experiencing either abnormal dryness or drought conditions. KTTC's Quinn Gorham caught up with officials from the Department of Natural Resources to explain this situation.
It's been a dry summer here in Minnesota. Most parts of the state can probably recall a weeks-long span where there's been little to no rain over the last couple of months. That said, the DNR is doing what it can to both monitor and control the situation. According to Luigi Romolo with the DNR, droughts can be tricky and unpredictable. It's difficult to forecast when one might hit, and even a bit of rain can change the outlook for weeks. While this year's drought isn't quite at the same level as 2021 was, the state has now been in drought for 3 consecutive years. Romolo says droughts have a tendency to linger over the winter, so it's possible we could see this one carry over into the spring.
In the summer of 2020, when things started to get a little dry, so we went into fall very dry, and then once we get into winter, our drought conditions kind of lock up because our moisture is frozen over.
Officials say it's always a good idea to practice water conservation around your home. I'm also told by the DNR that climate change has had a strange impact on the state of Minnesota. On the one hand, it's been much hotter here in the state, but it's also been a lot wetter. That's made for some unpredictable conditions, and it doesn't really spell anything for the future of droughts in Minnesota. It's something climatologists will keep an eye on as the future unfolds. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
The DNR also explains that Minnesota has a limited supply of groundwater. Efforts to conserve water can also keep aquifers full in times of drought. So let's turn our attention to the weather right here in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen is live on the weather patio for us we're not getting the rain we need, Nick, but it is a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is. It's very fall-esque outside today here, Caitlin, right around seasonal averages. Now, we did have some rain over this past weekend, some of us getting close to maybe a quarter, even third of an inch like we had at RST on Saturday. But our rain chances will be fairly limited, I think, even through this upcoming week. Right now, no rain outside, just some sunny sky here in Rochester. As we look on our Lewis Notto live cameras, temperatures are right now here in the Med-City. We're looking at temps sitting in those 70s. So we're right at 72, wind out of the north at 13 miles per hour, dew points mid-40s. Temperatures here locally still looking at some 70s, and we'll drop down into the 50s, I think, for our overnight lows. Now, we do have some stray showers out and about, maybe moving into Houston County, a couple little raindrops there. Most of the rain activity along this boundary just north of Minneapolis and out west near Marshall, Minnesota. Some of this activity could hold together by tomorrow morning, and maybe a couple stray showers will be possible before about 8 to 9 o'clock tomorrow. Other than that, clear sky here tonight. We look ahead through the rest of the week. We're tracking that chance for some stray showers early tomorrow morning, maybe some patchy fog Tuesday, Wednesday morning, but temperatures staying seasonal. We'll talk about that and look ahead to maybe an early peak for fall colors due to the drought. We'll talk about that coming up in your first alert forecast. Caitlin.
Thanks, Nick. A Stewartville man has been arrested on suspicion of possession of child pornography. According to the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office, an investigation uncovered hundreds of images. A tip regarding possible child sexual abuse material was given to the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office from ICAC, or Internet Crimes Against Children. On July 13th, deputies carried out a search warrant at a property off 23rd Street Northwest in Stewartville. 50-year-old Brett Morand was taken into custody on 3 counts of possession of pornographic work with a minor under the age of 14. His court date is expected in a couple weeks. Rochester police say thousands of dollars worth of jewelry was stolen in a home break-in. Police say no one was home when someone broke a lock on the back patio door. This happened at a house on 41st Street Northwest Sunday between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. Police say an intruder went through cabinets looking for items before taking necklaces that were worth $6,000. Police say they have no suspect at this time. A traffic alert this evening. The I-90 westbound Marion Rest area is closed starting today for MnDOT crews to make exterior improvements. The rest area is west of the Highway 42 exit to Eyota, about 3.5 miles east of Highway 52 exit to Rochester. It'll be closed through Friday. This week, workers at the Hormel plant in Austin will vote on a final offer from the company. The current contract expired on Sunday. On Labor Day, a march organized by Local 663 United Food and Commercial Workers demanded Hormel provide what they call a fair contract for essential meatpacking workers. Hormel employees and community members were standing in solidarity, negotiating for better pay, job safety, and benefits. The union says last week Hormel gave them an offer that does not include what they feel are good wages or secure pensions. The bargaining committee is unanimously recommending a no vote. The vote is set to happen on Wednesday and Thursday. Hormel told KTTC Monday morning in part it remains optimistic an agreement will be reached. Hormel says it has had strong working relationships with the UFCW and negotiations will continue in good faith. KTTC has also reached out to labor union members in Austin and is awaiting their response. Country music artist Luke Bryan is on the road for his 2023 farm tour. And in addition to providing what many are expecting will be a great performance, he's partnering with a group aiming to provide aid to struggling communities. Bryan is partnering with Bayer in its mission to provide food, health, and preventative care to rural communities across the country. 90% of counties with the highest food insecurity rates are in rural areas. This cause is close to Luke Bryan, which led him to partner with the organization to raise awareness of this critical issue.
These rural areas get really affected with lots of hunger, and as do certainly urban areas too. And I think the fact that our platform with being on these farms and having a lot of people pay attention to farm tours really spread the awareness.
If you're interested in learning more about the efforts that Bryan and Bayer are making in this cause, you can do so by visiting our website, KTTC.com. Could a Rochester apartment complex be turned into shelter for people experiencing homelessness? Olmsted County will be hosting a news conference tomorrow at the residences at Old Town Hall on East Center Street. This is the building in question. Megan Zempel joins us now from there. Megan, what do we know so far?
Hi, Caitlin. We're here at the residence at Old Town Hall. These are efficiency apartments, and they're owned and operated by Multiple Financial Services Incorporated. I actually just got off the phone with the owner, Jeff Allman, of who owns this building, and he says that Olmsted County approached him wanting to buy this building to turn it into housing for people experiencing homelessness. He said right now it's in the very beginning of the works. He said that the county did apply for state grant money to try to transform a building like this. He says this is not something that's going to happen right away. He said he understands some of the concerns that residents have about being what he calls pushed out of their building. He says they're not going to be pushed out of their building. He says this will happen in about 2 years. And tomorrow we expect a news conference with county officials, city officials, and state elected officials to talk to us more about what all of this means. I did reach out to the county. I did reach out to the city. They all declined interview at this time. So right now, it sounds like we really don't know a whole lot, but we're hoping that we will learn more about all of this tomorrow. In Rochester, Megan Zempel, KTTC News.
All right, Megan, thank you for that report. As America commemorates 22 years since the September 11th attacks, a painful nostalgia engulfs a nation. Solemn ceremonies taking place across the country to remember the fallen and honor first responders who continue to grapple with the aftermath of that day. Gloria Pazmino reports.
Today, we pay tribute.
Mournful Americans honor the nearly 3,000 people who perished when 4 hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania.
2,977 innocent men, women, and children who lost their lives.
As memorial events take place across the nation, a heightened sense of awareness emerges for those who displayed remarkable acts of heroism on that tragic day.
The degrees of cancer are growing, and the cost of treatment is growing.
Those first responders are still struggling with health effects of handling toxic debris and materials at ground zero.
People were coming up with some respiratory ailments that were starting to create some disabilities.
At least 341 New York City firefighters, paramedics, and civilian support staff have died as a result of post-9/11 illnesses. Exposure to dust at the World Trade Center linked to heightened risk of cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Thousands of cancer diagnoses have also been linked to the toxic air to the attacks.
It's the people who aren't dying but are sick, and they're not living but they're alive. And no one measures that loss.
With each passing year, the list of first responders who succumb to post-9/11 illnesses continues to rise. The names continually added to the World Trade Center Memorial Wall. In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
On this day, so many of us remember where we were when we first learned of the attack on our nation 22 years ago. We dug into our KTTC archives to show you a gathering at Mayo Civic Center. Leaders were there for a ribbon cutting that never happened that day.
It's a phenomenal city, and now we see something like this happen to it. Just can't comprehend.
Disgusting that there are people in this world that would go to these ends to do something like this. God bless America.
And I was in D.C. last week, and I'm just thankful that I'm home now.
The sad part is that it doesn't only affect those people in New York and the Pentagon, but it affects every one of us throughout the United States.
This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. It's just absolutely shocking.
We'll continue our reflections throughout the night on KTTC. The American Red Cross's blood supply now at a critically low level. What led to the shortage? And the Food and Drug Administration approves updated COVID boosters. More on next steps. Also feeling a little bit like fall out there, looking like it too in some areas. We'll have more in your First Alert forecast.
To everyone who's hungry for something special,
Culver's is the place. A warning from the American Red Cross. The organization that provides about 40% of the nation's blood and blood components to patients in need says their supply has hit what it calls critically low levels. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on what led to the shortage and how you can help.
For months, back-to-back climate-driven disasters have further strained the U.S. blood supply, forcing the American Red Cross to sound the alarm, saying their supplies are critically low.
It has become challenging for us to meet the demand of our hospitals.
With a busy summer travel season and back-to-school activities, the organization was already seeing low donor turnout. That, paired with blood drive cancellations because of extreme weather, has led to the national blood supply dropping by nearly 25% since early August, despite a constant demand.
Blood cannot be manufactured, it can't be stockpiled, and really it's the blood on the shelves on a daily basis that is needed to save lives.
From emergencies to cancer patients and women in delivery, blood is used to help patients every day. The Red Cross says all blood types are urgently needed, but there's an emergency need for platelet donors and type O blood donors.
About 40% of this country's population is eligible to donate, and only about 4% do.
When Hurricane Idalia slammed into the southeast, the Red Cross says it was unable to collect more than 700 units of blood and platelets, and the storm season isn't over. Hurricane Lee is now being closely monitored.
The need is constant, and it's the patients that are at the other end of this life-saving product.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Anyone interested in giving blood or platelets can make an appointment through the Red Cross Blood app. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. The Food and Drug Administration approved updated COVID boosters from Pfizer and Moderna today. The shots, which are formulated to target the XBB 1.5 subvariant, are expected to be available later this week after the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention greenlights the approval. The FDA said anyone age 5 and older can get an updated booster shot from either Pfizer, BioNTech, or Moderna, regardless of whether they were previously vaccinated. The agency said people who have been vaccinated should wait at least 2 months before getting the updated booster. The boosters come as COVID cases are rising in the United States, driven by several subvariants. Health officials hope that the boosters can blunt a possible spike in fall and winter illness.
Here's your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen.
We're talking about fall and winter illness, starting to see some hints of fall out there, here and there.
Look at that. It's like you knew I was leading with fall colors here today.
Really?
Yeah, leading with the fall colors.
Nailed it. I'll take it for a Monday.
Yeah, right. I think the drought will really impact what we're seeing in terms of our peak fall colors here this year. Because, again, we're in extreme drought across most of southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa. So here's on average of when we would hit our peak fall color, early October. I do think, after talking with them about the National Weather Service about some of these things, that we're probably going to see that be a little bit earlier. As Caitlin just mentioned, we're kind of already seeing some trees start to change. So we might actually be looking at maybe late September for that peak fall color here this upcoming through the rest of the fall. Now, the good, what actually has impacts on fall colors, sunny and warm fall days. Okay, we have that currently, and then those cool and crisp nights where we're dropping those overnight lows down into maybe the 40s, like tonight. Now, some of the bad things, an early frost could impact that. Well above average fall temperatures. This September, we haven't been well above average, but we were in terms of our temperature in August. The big thing is the spring and summer drought that will have the biggest impact, I think, this year on our fall colors across southeast Minnesota and northern Iowa. So if we look at our drought numbers here, we actually weren't too bad. If we look at March, April, and May for meteorological spring, we had a surplus of, we were over just 1.01 inches of rainfall for those 3 months combined at 10.9 inches. The big problem was summer. June, July, and August, we only accumulated right around about 5 inches of rainfall at RST. In some areas had even less than that. We had a departure of minus 8.63 inches. So we were well below average, over 8.5 inches below average in terms of our rainfall. That'll have a big impact on the trees, especially since June 1st to today, we're actually 9.5 inches of rain below average. So the forecast, fall color forecast, probably looking at an early peak, probably less color as a whole. The trees will be losing those leaves early on. I think we have a short peak. And I talked about the leaves falling quickly, so it's not looking the best in terms of our fall colors, especially here at home. Maybe a little bit better towards about Minneapolis and just to the north there. Outside currently, we have some sunshine. Lewis and Ada live camera, temperature at 72. Temps here locally, still looking at some 70s, most of the region. We have some spotty showers out and about, especially west of I-35 here, and then up in northern Minnesota by about Brainerd, up near Duluth. That's where that frontal boundary is at. And that could bring with it maybe the chance for some spotty showers by tomorrow morning. Notice on Future Track, a lot of the rain fizzles out, and then we could see a couple little stray showers start to move in. Not everyone will see the rain tomorrow, but there will be some stray shower activity tomorrow morning by 8 to 9 o'clock, even into the afternoon. Maybe some shower activity by about Fayette, Albuquerque, Houston counties by about 4 o'clock tomorrow evening. So straight chance, I think, here in Rochester early on for areas north of I-90. Another straight chance of rain coming up on Saturday. Tonight here, overnight low at 47. Some stray showers late tonight, probably looking at about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some fog will be possible tomorrow morning. So some fog in the morning, a couple stray showers before 8 a.m. Then notice just some partly cloudy sky throughout the afternoon and into the evening. 7-day forecast here, 68 for that high on Wednesday. Mid-70s continue Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. We have those high temperatures, fairly seasonal, both Saturday and Sunday. That'll do it for your first alert forecast. We'll be right back after this.
KTTC Weather brought to you by Custom Communication.
Congress now back from its August recess and facing a deadline at the end of the month to fund the government. Let's bring in KTTC's national political editor and White House correspondent John Decker. John, what are the odds of a government shutdown?
Well, Caitlin, we confront this same issue every year around this time as we come to the end of the fiscal year, which is on September 30th. The new fiscal year begins October 1st, and we only have, as things stand today, 11 legislative days left to come to some sort of an agreement to fund the government for the next fiscal year. I don't think that's very likely, but I think what is likely is passage of what's known as a continuing resolution funding the government for a period of time. It could be a few weeks, it could be a month and a half, to give negotiators more time to strike a deal between Republicans and Democrats to fund the government for the next fiscal year.
Meanwhile, hardline House Republicans pushing for an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. What are you hearing from your sources about whether or not House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will sign off on an impeachment inquiry?
Speaker McCarthy, I'm told, will only go down this path if the numbers are there. If there are 218 votes to move forward and vote affirmatively on moving forward on an impeachment inquiry against President Biden. But Caitlin, as things stand today, there are not 218 votes to do that. There are probably more than 24 House Republicans who come from swing districts that voted for President Biden in the 2020 election, who don't want to go down this path and are not yet of the belief that President Biden committed any criminal wrongdoing to justify an impeachment inquiry. So I don't see this happening anytime soon.
Our White House correspondent, John Decker. John, thanks for that report tonight.
Right now, the race against time in Morocco as rescuers rush to save people trapped in the rubble after that devastating earthquake. Plus, new questions about cold medicine and whether it actually works. Those stories and more ahead on Nightly News.
We'll be right back.
Our exclusive report from Alaska.
Yet another chance to get lucky. The jackpot for Monday's Powerball drawing is an estimated $522 million, the third largest Powerball jackpot of the year.
The cash option lump sum payout value is $252.4 million. This after there were no tickets matching all 6 numbers in Saturday's drawing. That drawing did produce winners, though, more than 1 million of them across the country. That included 2 tickets worth $1 million each in New Hampshire and Virginia, and a winning ticket worth $2 million in Florida. The previous Powerball jackpot win was for $1.08 billion, the third largest Powerball jackpot ever won. That was July 19th, and there have been 22 consecutive drawings since then without a jackpot winner. So are you going to play tonight, Nick?
I've never played it.
In your life?
Never done it. Never bought a Powerball ticket.
I'm debating if I want to stop on the way.
Have you played before?
I play when like it's big, which I mean like.
So me and you are the same. You've played it. I've never played it. We've never won.
We've never won. And think about how much I've put in, right? Well, let's talk about the weather. We're feeling a little bit luckier on that front.
Yeah, right. We're winning in terms of our temperatures here as of late. Stray shower and foggy late tonight, probably looking at more or less into early on Tuesday morning. We'll see a couple spotty showers early on, probably before about 8 o'clock in the morning. Foggy too, some patchy fog will be possible. Wind tomorrow about 5 to 10 miles per hour. 7-day forecast, like I said, we keep winning temperature-wise, upper 60s on Wednesday, mid-70s Thursday and Friday. Another chance for a couple stray showers on Saturday, but again, that's nothing to be concerned about in terms of if you have those outdoor plans coming up this weekend.
You know the people who say, why do you